Well, we're coming up on anniversary time here at the brewery. And this year in May, it'll be our 13th anniversary. And we have our classic anniversary old ale here. This one is called Dentel. At least that's the way I pronounce it here, being a Southern California guy. Truly one of my favorite beers that we do at the brewery. And the reason for that is it not only is it unadulterated in any way, this isn't a beer that's, receiving 1,000 pounds of cacao nibs or vanilla beans or any herbs or spices or any of that stuff. It's just a bourbon barrel aged old ale. But what makes it special to, I like to think not only myself, but what makes it special to me is that it's a solera beer. And what that means is that every year we save a portion of the previous year's beer to add to this year's beer. And over the time, what that means is that every bottle of this beer has a little bit of beer in it from the first year we made this beer, 12 years ago, including every year in between. So a really, historical beer for the brewery, but also a beer of the present and a beer of the future, if you will. It kind of ties, everybody together that's ever, put their blood, sweat, and tears into building these beers at the brewery. And I think that's the lineage that provides is what makes this beer truly special. You get it in the taste of this beer. It's truly remarkable. There's not another old ale barley wine style beer on the market that I think compares to the complexity of this beer. It's powerful. It has a huge bourbon presence on the nose, and it's got a lot of dark fruit character aromatically. It also does on the taste, but I'll get to that in a second. But aromatically, it's got like a, kind of a figgy and date sort of smell to it. So those are those dark fruits I'm talking about, or brown fruits. I think on the palate, this beer has a lot of of those dark fruit sugars, that I said were associated. So it tastes like, date sugar and whatnot. But what the amazing thing about this beer and a lot of the barrel-aged beers that we make taste sweet. A lot of times they're not sweet. So this isn't a sweet beer by any means. You don't get a thickness and viscosity from the beer the way you would in an uberly sweet beer. But there's a perception of sweetness that's coming from the heat and the alcohol. This is 17.9%. So there's a perception of sweetness you get from that. And then there's the caramel notes that you get from the barrel and the grain that lend to that perception of sweetness. So a really well-rounded beer. But I mean, if this isn't the essence of the brewery in a glass, I don't know what is.